Hello, wherever you're watching and listening from. This is Voicetv Nigeria, and thank you for staying glued. Heads of state at the World Bank Summit in Nairobi have echoed a narrative espoused over the past 12 months that the global financial architecture does not address specific needs of African countries. The African presidents gathered at the Kenyatta International Convention Center for the World Bank's IDA for Africa Heads of State Summit. The world leaders appealed once again for access to concessional finance that transcends financial returns as the continent grapples with the impact of climate change, mounting geopolitical tensions, and the lingering impact of the global pandemic. So much was discussed and addressed. However, the Ugandan president, Yoweri Museveni, hit a different point. He spoke on how Africans have been comfortable with the cliché, sustainable development, which he further breaks down to sustainable underdevelopment. Okay, this brings me to the question. I want to ask you a very important question. Yes, you're listening to me. Presently, is Africa developed or underdeveloped? Especially if you are an African listening to me right now. What state or level of development do you think Africa is at the moment? Place your sincere opinion in the comment section below. Museveni is saying that African leaders should be talking about transformative growth and not maintaining an underdeveloped or crumbled economy. Take a listen.
When you see the crisis in many of the African countries, the collapse of states, we predicted this in the 1960s. Philosophical, ideological, strategic mistakes. I don't have time to amplify each one. But I was very happy to hear the president of the World Bank talking about prosperity instead of profiteering. These were his own words. That's what I picked. This has been the problem. Aid has been for profiteering. This has been the problem. Now, the World Bank people and other groups have been talking of sustainable development. Even in your documents, I have seen those words there. Sustainable development. I am now going to be 80 years old. I have never seen sustainable pregnancy. That a woman is pregnant this year, the pregnancy continues next year, 3 years, 4 years, it never happens. In life, pregnancy develops sustainably within the womb of the woman. Quantitatively, the baby is growing bigger and bigger. But at some stage, quantitative growth must be transformed into qualitative change. The pregnancy must become a baby. If the pregnancy remains pregnancy, the fetus will die. So therefore, I would even ask you to change those words in your documents. Africa does not need sustainable what? You could call it sustainable underdevelopment. Africa needs socio-economic transformation. The pregnancy must become a baby. The baby must grow and become a teenager. The teenager must grow. That's what happens in life. You cannot have quantitative growth and you think you are doing anything. The main reason why there is no growth is because the growth factors are not funded. They are not even understood.
I have always said it before and I will say it again. Museveni is one man that has always spoke the truth to African leaders. Whatever opportunity that presents himself to speak, he always advocates for the rising of Africa. Yes, that's the never give up spirit of a devoted leader that wants to see its continent strive. William Ruto of Kenya is another typical example of Pan-Africanism. There was something the President Museveni said that struck my mind or came as a reminder, and I'm going to relate this to Nigeria, where he talked about the reason why there is no growth in Africa. He made mention of the cost of transportation.
Africa does not need sustainable what? Africa needs socio-economic transformation. The main reason why there is no growth is because the growth factors are not funded. We now talk of private sector-led growth. Yes, but for the private sector to grow, what does it need? It needs low costs of production. Low costs of production. And what are the low costs of production? Number one, transport. You must have low transport costs.
Yes, you listen to that. If you are currently in Nigeria or you are a Nigerian, it is no news that the cost of transportation is on the high side as a result of the increase in fuel, which has also led to the high cost of production. So, this particular information should sink into the mind of the President Tinubu-led administration. What are your cabinet members doing about this issue of fuel and the cost of transportation? Because Museveni has given us some eye-opener here, and we should not just listen to his words, but put his words into action. For Nigeria, start by cutting down the cost of fuel. I mean, Mr. President should have another round table of discussion with his cabinet members, his MDs, PMs, and look into the current state of the economy, so Nigerians can be happy once again. Oh, I mean, we are happy, but more happiness isn't a bad idea, I guess. You're listening to me. What's your opinion or what's your take on this matter of discussion? Please pour out your thoughts in the comment section below because I will be replying to your comments, to your opinion. And as you do so, do not forget to give a thumbs up to the subscription button and follow us on every other social media platforms. I am Patience Obot for Voicetv Nigeria.